President Donald Trump released a series of surprise tweets this morning calling for a complete ban on transgender people serving in the military in any capacity. I'm Adam Bozarth and welcome back to What's Trending. President Trump tweeted, "After consultation with my generals and military experts, please be advised that the United States government will not accept or allow transgender individuals to serve in any capacity in the U.S. military. Our military must be focused on decisive and overwhelming victory and cannot be burdened with the tremendous medical costs and disruption that transgender in the military would entail. Thank you." Well, in his first tweet, Trump fails to mention any of these military advisors by name, and that's because Trump never spoke to anybody who was studying this issue. According to the New York Times, officials at the Pentagon were caught off guard. They had been studying how transgender troops in the military affect other service members, but not with a view toward removing transgender people from the military, several defense officials said. In his second tweet, he is unequivocal that transgender individuals have no place in the American military. "We tried a similar policy in the military called Don't Ask, Don't Tell, and it went horribly. Though it prevented military officials from discriminating against homosexuals, Don't Ask, Don't Tell kept many servicemen and women in the closet while they were serving. If their sexuality was discovered, even in a case of sexual assault, LGBT soldiers were removed from military service and left without any help." Trump's trans ban also reverses a decision made by the Pentagon last year allowing trans people to serve openly in the military. In fact, the Pentagon's statement at the time was, "These are the kind of people we want." Obama's Secretary of Defense Ash Carter said, "The Department of Defense needs to avail ourselves of all talent possible in order to remain what we are now, the finest fighting force the world has ever known. We have to have access to 100% of America's population for our all-volunteer force to be able to recruit from among the most highly qualified and to retain them." Carter also noted that transgender Americans are also already serving in uniform today. Trump's argument is that trans soldiers are just too expensive to employ and they are a disruption. But how disruptive are trans soldiers? Well, let's ask the vets. At CJ Santucci tweets, "I served with a trans sailor in the Navy. He was always squared away, hardworking, and 100% reliable." Conversely, Trump has never served. At Enough Said writes, "I served with many trans soldiers and never had any issue. In fact, I only dealt with sexual harassment and degrading behavior from non-trans." 150,000 transgender Americans have served the U.S. military. My aunt was one of them. I stand with trans and LGBTQ community. So are trans people actually that much more expensive to treat medically? Well, let's ask a trans vet. Former military intelligence officer Chelsea Manning tweeted, "So, biggest, baddest, most $$ military on earth cries about a few trans people, but funds the F-35? Sounds like cowardice." That's good. What's the F-35? The Lockheed Martin F-35 fighter jet is the most expensive military project ever. The jet barely works. The project is almost 10 years behind schedule and has cost taxpayers over $163 billion in sunk costs. And the medical expenses that Trump is referring to is the military's new policy of providing gender reassignment surgery. The policy was enacted in October of 2016 and only provides soldiers with reassignment surgery if it is deemed a medical necessity. Chelsea Manning was a recipient of one of the first reassignment surgeries provided by the military. The Pentagon estimates that this service would cost between $3 and $8 million per year. For the amount of money that they have wasted on the F-35 project alone, the Pentagon could provide reassignment surgeries for the next 2,000 years. Chelsea tweets, "Today is a further reason we should dismantle the bloated and dangerous military intelligence police state to fund health care for all." I mean, call me crazy, but medicine's probably a better thing to buy than a plane full of guns that doesn't work. I mean, I don't even have a pilot's license. Many people are upset that the president would make such a discriminatory announcement. Andy Cohen responds, "Are you trying to be an asshole?" George Takei writes, "History shall record that you are not only the stupidest, most incompetent president ever, but also the cruelest and pettiest. #shame. And Trump supporter Caitlyn Jenner says, "There are 15,000 patriotic transgender Americans in the U.S. military fighting for all of us. What happened to your promise to fight for them?" What do you think of Trump's trans ban? Let us know in the comments section below, and please like and subscribe for more of What's Trending.